What's up guys, Niklas Kling here. In this video I will show you how you can turn social media from a distraction into a lead source. Most real estate agents, they spend enough time on social media to grow their business, but they spend that time consuming instead of producing. I've seen it in my own business and in top agents around me. The ones with the best lead flow are usually the ones who post, not just scroll. So in this video I will break down the math and I will show you what can happen in just 6 months if you make this switch as well. Alright, so if you really look at things here, the problem is that we're spending our time every day on things that won't make us, more successful. Like as I said before, like let's say you're spending 2 hours each day, scrolling on social media, that is in general like a bad behavior. And what I really love about what we're going to talk about today is that we're not just going to make 2 hours each day out of nothing. We're going to take time that you already spend on the wrong things and make you spend them on the right things. So let's jump into the solution here. The way to go about it is like, if you want to make more money, we gotta spend our time on the right things. And the smartest way of doing this is, just taking the same time you spend consuming content to start producing it instead. And why this is so important is because if you just spend time consuming things, you're never going to make money. You're never going to become rich, because if you look at society and how everything is, built, if you are a consumer, you spend money on things, you pay others for doing that in return, and the people you pay are the producers. So if you want to make money, you got to make that switch and going from being a consumer to being a producer. And let me give an example here. So let's say that you spend 2 hours each day, consuming social media. As you can see here. And the smart move to be doing here is really just taking that time and, cutting it in half. So if you take one of those 2 hours that you spend each day to make content, you will make more money. That's a promise from me to you, because you are just making an active switch from being a consumer to being a producer. That's just how you're going to make more money. It's a very smart move to making, and I actually wanted to give you a realistic sample here as well. So let's make everything very simple here. So you have those 2 hours each day. That's 14 hours a week. If you cut that in half, as you can see, that's 7 hours each week. So every single day, you take one of those 2 hours and start to post free content. And the reason why you want to do that is because when you post free content, as I'm sitting here and doing, that's a high leverage move. And if we're all real estate agents here, you know that the more leads you have, the more shots on goal you have, the more apartments you're going to sell, the more listings you're going to get, etc. So really, taking one of those 2 hours each day and, posting free content, that's the highest leverage move. And the best part about it is that you're gonna pick the platform you're anyway spending your time on, and just instead of looking at things, scrolling, liking, consuming, and being entertained, you're gonna make a switch and post things on that platform instead. That is valuable for your potential clients. So what is very important here to know as well is that if you take this time, to go back to the example, I was rambling a little bit, is that gives you 7 hours each week to post content. And what happens if you do that for 6 months? As I said in the beginning of the video, what can happen if you do this for 6 months? And well, a lot of things can happen, and it can make you a lot of money, and it can make you very successful. So the biggest question you should be having by now is that, well, okay, how many leads by then? If I, spend 1 hour every single day, how many leads can I get if I start to post free content? So we're going to do some math here. So that leads to 24 weeks of making content, and 7 hours each week times 24, that's 168 hours of making content. So I will give you 2 scenarios. First scenario number 1, like a realistic amount of leads, that is somewhere between 10 to 25. So if you spend 160 hours of making content, which is basically every single day for just 1 hour, 1 hour every single day for 6 months, you should be having around 10 to 25 leads. And those one are, generally speaking, kind of hot because they're coming from them consuming your content, building a relationship with you, and then reaching out or making a call to action or acting on your eventual marketing campaigns. And the best part as well is that a best case amount of leads is somewhere between 30 to 60. And that is a lot of leads, to be honest. Like, let's say you get 30. That is a lot, if you ask me, at least. So of those, like, how many new clients? So let's, another example here, let's take a realistic amount. So let's say you have a 30% hit rate, and let's say that you get 15 leads during this 6 months when you start to post content, and you have a 30% hit rate. That means that you get 5 new clients just by taking time that you already have at your disposal and going from social media being a distraction to being a new lead source for you. Like, this is, in my eyes, an absolute cheat code, because it's time that you already spend on another thing. You just take that, some of that time, and start being a producer and start getting results for yourself. That is very nice. And the good part as well is that that's a very realistic scenario. I want to give you a great scenario as well. So let's say that you have, first of all, you have a 50% hit rate, which is not absolutely nuts. I think it's very reasonable. And let's say that you get 40 leads in the next 6 months if you start spending 1 hour every single day posting free content, and you have a 50% hit rate. That means that you get around 20 new clients in 6 months. And the best part is that it's from time that you already spend on social media. You're just going from being a consumer to being a producer. You make things instead of consuming them. Like, it's an absolute smart move to be making. And as a good consequence, by you just spending 1 hour each day on being smart, taking time that you already have, you get 20 new clients, roughly. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a questions to start thinking about. Is that first of all 20 new clients, more than I do what your average fees are. So let's say you get 20 new clients, just multiply that by your average fee. Like, that is a lot of money. So that's why I don't want you to sleep on this, guys. Like, I think it's a super smart move to be making, and I think it's not at all unreasonable to have this outcome to be happening. If you spend 1 hour each day posting free content, that is valuable for your potential clients. And as I said, like, the crazy thing here is that you add extra cash in your bank by using time you already have. I think it's such a smart move to be making. And I want to talk about as well, like, when it comes to winning mindset, it's a slogan that I have in my newsletter. If you're already not on my newsletter, click on the link below, sign up. It's totally free. I send it out once a week, and I have hundreds of agents all around the globe that gets it every single week, and people are currently loving it. So if you're not currently on it, check it out. And as I said, like, the winning mindset here is really to go from being a consumer to being a producer. The absolute winners, in real life, are the people that are producing things instead of consuming them. That's just how the world of economics works. So now the most important thing is, well, how can you apply this in your life? So first of all, this is a blueprint. So let's dive in here. First of all, I want you to look at your screen time. So I want you to pause this video, take up your phone, look at your screen time, and you see, like, how much time are you spending on your screen, first of all. which should be like first of all a reality check. Of course, we're real estate agents, so we have a lot of screen time because we're calling people, we're texting people, like we're working on our phones. That's just what we do. So I imagine your screen time is kind of high. But what I want you to do is that, second of all, like if you look at, okay, well, how much time are you spending on social media each day? It might be 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours. If it's more than that, we got to do something about it. But look at the number. Number 3, what I want you to do then, cut that time in half. So as I said, in the beginning of the video, I did an example. Let's say you spend 2 hours each day on social media, consuming it. Cut that thing in half. So if you look at your screen time and say that, wow, I'm spending 3 hours each day on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever platform that is the most you spend your time on, cut that thing in half. And what I want you to do with that time is to start use that time that you now have at your disposal, because you're going to cut that out, and start to post free content on social media instead. And I want to make things as simple as possible. So you look at how much time you spend on social media, look at the app, aka what social media app you're spending the most time on, and pick that one and start post free content on that platform. So some people might look at it as, well, I spend most time on YouTube. Well, start making videos on YouTube then, because the platform that you spend the absolute most time on are usually the ones that you know the most. So if you're a real estate agent, that will be your competitive advantage, comparing that you just pick a platform because I say so, or a colleague of yours say so. Like, pick the platform that you feel the most comfortable on, and a cheat code by finding that out is the platform you spend the most time on. And what I want to do as well, we just talked about that, and as I said, like the things you should be posting, like it's things that your potential clients might find valuable. And the thing that you should not do, and I repeat, not to do, is to start posting things that you find interesting, because that will not attract the clients you want to have. So me sitting here making these videos, it's a one core purpose for doing so, because I want to help you get more money in the bank. I want to get you more leads. So that's why I'm giving you the best strategy for doing so. I would not sit here and give you guides and guidelines and tips and tricks if this will not make your money in over the long period of time. So what I mean by this really is that you should not go, post things that your friends find valuable. You should not start to making baking content or things like that. So you should see this as a business tool, and you should only make content for your potential clients. That's at least the way I would go about it. It's the smartest move if you want to get more leads, be more successful as a real estate agent. I want to give a quick side note, because I always talk about time frame, or at least most of the times, because I think it's super important. So, let's say you're pumped, you have looked at this video like, damn, let's do this. Being a producer, I'm not gonna be a consumer. You cannot do this for just 1 week. I've been here making videos for over a year on YouTube. I have been posting things on LinkedIn for nearly 2 years. The more time you spend on things, the better you become. And as a consequence by that, you will get more clients, you will get more leads, etc. So you gotta be committed and do this for at least 6 months, because I have one promise to you, that if you spend 1 hour every single day starting posting free content that's valuable for your potential clients, when 6 months has passed, you will have more leads than you're currently having today. Like, that's my promise to you, because that's how the world works. More people will know that you exist, and by consequence, you posting things, you build more relationships, they get warmer, and the leads get warmer, etc. So that is a promise from me to you. And as I said, like, why I really, really love this is because you're really like taking time that you already have at your disposal. Because I really get it, like me sitting here and saying like you should post things and stuff. I'm actually not doing that. I'm just sharing what I'm seeing works, and if you start to post content or not, like that is 100% up to you. Of course, like you have such an insane benefits from doing that. And I know that the people look at this video and go implement the things I'm saying, like you're going to get very good results. And I know there are a lot of ambitious real estate agents watching this, and if you have stick with me to this end, like it's just a matter of fact that you are, you know, ambitious, you're driven, you want to get ahead, and that's why, you know, I'm making this video for exactly the people like you. So that's really, you know, the video. And as you can see, I made a little bit graph here, because if you are a consumer, you will go down. If you are a producer, you will go up. So if you just implement these things, as I said, like my biggest promise to you is that you will have more leads than you have right now if you stick with this for 6 months. And now don't forget to watch this video where I teach you how real estate agents actually get rich.